All right, guys, let me know what you think about this story. President Donald Trump's Department of Homeland Security, or DHS, accused Hilton Hotels of refusing rooms to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE agents, describing it as a coordinated campaign against DHS law enforcement in Minneapolis. In a post on Twitter X today, DHS shared screenshots, it said, were from Hilton Hotels in which staff refused to book rooms for federal agents linked with immigration enforcement efforts in the area. They said when officers attempted to book rooms using official government emails and rates, Hilton Hotels maliciously canceled their reservations. This is unacceptable. Why is Hilton Hotels siding with murderers and rapists to deliberately undermine and impede DHS law enforcement from their mission to enforce our nation's immigration laws? That was DHS who wrote on official Twitter X account. Now, Hilton responded to the post, initially telling Newsweek magazine it was investigating the emails before later updating to say the hotel in question had apologized. They said this hotel is independently owned and operated, and these actions were not reflective of Hilton values, said a Hilton spokesperson to Newsweek. They said, we have been in direct contact with the hotel, and they have apologized for the actions of their team, which was not in keeping with their policies. They have taken immediate action to resolve this matter. Hilton's position is clear. Our properties are open to everyone, and we do not tolerate any form of discrimination, end quote. Now, the company running the Hilton Hotel, Everpeak Hospitality, said the emails were inconsistent with its policies. They said the Trump administration has faced pushback from local leaders and businesses in the areas where federal agents have been surged to tackle illegal immigration, including Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. Said Minneapolis is the latest city DHS is focused on, primarily due to alleged fraud committed by Somali nationals in the area, many of whom have been residents for years, if not decades. I guess they're talking about the daycare or the school. The email shared on Monday or today with redacted personal details appeared to show Hilton employees explaining that they had researched who was set to stay in their hotel rooms, found them to be federal agents linked to immigration operations, and canceled the bookings. One email read in part, "We are not allowing any ICE or immigration agents to stay at our property." It was not immediately clear which Hilton property was connected to the email. DHS's post sparked outrage among some on social media, with multiple users on X saying they would never stay at a Hilton-branded hotel again. Hilton generally operates on a franchise model, meaning the company does not necessarily get involved in day-to-day operations. In past years, the company has emphasized that it wants to welcome immigrants and has had a policy of employing refugees. A statement in 2020 emphasized that Hilton did not support the detention of immigrants at its properties after reports that agents had used rooms to house immigrants, including minors in Texas. So what are people saying? Well, Everpeak Hospitality, in a statement shared online, Everpeak Hospitality has moved swiftly to address this matter as it was inconsistent with our policy of being a welcoming place for all. We are in touch with the impacted guests to ensure they are accommodated. We do not discriminate against any individuals or agencies and apologize to those impacted. We are committed to welcoming all guests and operating in accordance with brand standards, applicable laws, and our role as a professional hospitality provider. Turning Point USA spokesperson Andrew Colvett said on X, "This is blatant discrimination against federal law enforcement that panders to the radical left while betraying American security. The next step is clear. Either Hilton condemns this, which I guess they have, apologizes and reverses course in Minnesota, or we boycott Hilton Hotels." David Beer, director of immigration studies at the Cato Institute, said on X, Hilton is a rational business like any other, and it should be free to provide service or not to anyone it pleases. DHS is free to book elsewhere. Glad there is freedom somewhere in this great nation of ours. So he's okay. So what happens next? The apparent refusal to house federal agents came as CBS reported that DHS was about to send 2,000 agents into Minneapolis as part of an immigration crackdown and fraud probe. The 30-day surge across the Twin Cities, that's St. Paul and Minneapolis, would be the first major operation for the department in 2026. As with similar operations, agents have been drafted from across the U.S. to assist. So far, in the region, some 700 arrests have been made per DHS figures. That's a lot, and it's only the 5th of January. So you see Turning Point USA and Trump and them, they're not very happy with Hilton. But then this other guy, David Beer, he says, hey, they're a business. If they wanted, they aren't discriminating. If they don't want to house you, they don't have to do it. That's their business. They do what they want. He's saying. So the question is this discrimination, or is it simply, hey, this is our business? Although Hilton and Everpeak Hospitality has said it's not within our policy. We've corrected it. We've apologized. We're going to, I forget what the word is, but we're going to accommodate those people. But, it sounds like this, even though it's a Hilton hotel, it sounds like this Everpeak Hospitality that owns this Hilton hotel is operating it like a franchise, like 7-Eleven. Each 7-Eleven store is owned by a franchisee. Somebody buys the franchise. He's the owner of that 7-Eleven. So does not necessarily mean that the corporation is supporting a specific thing. And I use 7-Eleven, and it could be a Starbucks, it could be a McDonald's, another franchisee. So that's what it sounds like Hilton Hotel is. It's kind of like a franchise, and the corporation is saying, look, we don't get involved in our franchisee operations. They own it. It's theirs. But at least they came out and addressed it and said, we'll look into it, though, if our franchisee is, if they're defaming your name, Hilton or 7-Eleven or McDonald's or whatever, Jack in the Box, if they're defaming the corporate name, you got to do something. You got to be, hey, that's our name. You got our name on WhatsApp, I want to know what all of you think. Should they be allowed to say, look, we don't want ICE agents here, so we're going to cancel your bookings? Or is it discrimination? And they should say, hey, we welcome everybody. What do you think?